Today I bring you the DecaMove. The DecaMove is one part of the DecaGear VR set, which is estimated to be released in Q3 of this year, and the current pre-order price is $450, which is surprising considering the technology it boasts, such as upper and lower face tracking, as well as a resolution of 4320 by 2160. Unfortunately, I don't have the whole DecaGear set with me, but what I do have is the Blogger edition of their DecaMove, which is their hip-based locomotion device. To be honest, I'm probably just as surprised as you that I was able to get one to try out, but it just goes to show the power of not being afraid to just reach out and ask. Hey, I'm AtomBombBody, and I create VR live streaming and recording tutorials. I also cover the occasional VR game and tech, and in today's video, I'm going to give you an overview of the DecaMove. As a disclaimer, these Blogger editions are in-house prototypes and do not reflect the final version. What you see in this video may change on final release. Anyway, enough of the chatter, let's show you what you're here for, the software, the hardware, and how it all works. The DecaMove Blogger Edition came with the USB dongle as well as the long-range antenna to attach to it. Of course, it also came with the DecaMove device itself, which is about the size of a Pocket Pikachu for those of you old enough to remember those, as well as the USB-C charging cable. Pairing the DecaMove required downloading the DecaHub software. From there, I was prompted to plug in the dongle via USB. Front port was recommended, but I used a 2.0 back port with a USB extender due to my play space area, and I was able to get it to work with no issues. Pairing was also super simple. I just had to hold down the Deca logo for about 2 seconds until it showed solid blue. Once connected, it says streaming on the software, and you have this neat little compass showing you the direction it's pointed. Since this was my first time using it, I also needed to calibrate the magnetometer, and the software visually walked me through the various rotations I needed to do for calibration. Overall software setup was easy to get up and running. All I did was follow their easy-to-understand Getting Started page, but I would like to see this either linked somewhere on the device page itself or as auto prompts for new users. Besides the device setup tab, there's also a DecaHub homepage that shows all of your currently installed games on Steam. The green checkmark on the upper left corner means that the game is officially supported by DecaGear, basically that it has bindings and has been actually tested to work. The DecaMove should eventually work with any Steam VR game, but it will depend on if the game has head-based locomotion as a setting, and obviously if locomotion is actually a feature of the game. They do plan on adding an SDK where devs can implement values directly, as well as a Steam binding interface for advanced users. The DecaMove has a clip in the back so it can go on the waistband of your pants. Deca recommends placing it a little off to the side so it doesn't get in the way when crouching or bending forward. The DecaMove seems to turn off pretty quickly when not in use or when not in range, but can easily be turned back on by just pressing the button. I only had one random instance where it turned off on its own during a 4-hour gameplay session, but getting it back up again was no problem. Again, this is still a prototype, so I'm sure it will be even more optimized upon release. Charging the DecaMove was easy enough. Just a USB-C cable plugged into my computer. It glows red while charging, it charges pretty quickly, and seems to have a pretty long battery life. I started at about 85% and it only went down to around 60% after a 4-hour gameplay session. Once in the game, looking down, you'll see the DecaMove UI. The circle with the pointer sticking out indicates which direction your hips are facing, and of course you also have the battery life displayed. The UI can also be turned off with one push of the button on the device itself if you'd like. If the hip calibration is off, fixing that is super easy and does not require you to take off your headset or fiddle around with the buttons. All I had to do was bring my controllers together at my hips and face them in the same direction of my head and let it do its thing. For the in-game settings, you'll need to change the locomotion method to continuous and head-oriented and make sure the dominant hand is right-handed or it may not track properly. If you're a lefty, however, they do plan on adding left-handed support to the DecaHub in the future. Once set up correctly, you'll notice that when I start walking around, the direction I walk in will actually be guided by the direction my hips are facing. There are a couple of benefits I've found to this. One, it might help people who tend to get light motion sickness in VR, because the movement is usually based on the direction your head or controller's facing. However, if you wanted to do something like look to the side but still be walking forward in one direction, you get this weird drifting sensation which feels a little unnatural, and the DecaMove corrects this. Another great use for the DecaMove is in situations where you're running and gunning. In most games, if you're trying to run away while shooting someone, once you start shooting, you automatically start drifting towards the thing you're attacking. However, with DecaMove, you can safely run in the direction your hips are facing while shooting your enemy. In an earlier blog post, Deca mentioned haptics coming from the device itself, such as when grabbing something from a holster, but I didn't really notice anything, at least not with this version. There were haptics in the device in general though, as I could feel the rumble when the device turned on or off. I did a couple more tests based on things that other people will probably try to use this with, such as LIV, trackers, and a Quest 2. I noticed that for a few of the games on the list, Quest Link and Quest Virtual Desktop were supported. I tried Population 1 as well as Half-Life Alyx wirelessly using Virtual Desktop, and the DecaMove was able to work just fine. However, instead of launching the game directly through Virtual Desktop, I had to launch the game through the Deca Hub in Virtual Desktop, or else the UI wouldn't appear. It also seems to work fine with LIV and Vive trackers. I tried both Until You Fall and Blade and Sorcery. As long as I had the trackers turned on before the DecaMove, there was no interference. I also had no issues with LIV, and the nice thing is that the avatar/camera settings circle fits nicely in the middle of the DecaMove UI. While there's no release date yet for the standalone DecaMove, you can get it either with the full DecaGear kit in Q3 or purchase it separately for $69. The standalone version will connect via dongle to your PC, while the one that comes with DecaGear will connect with a headset to your PC. Overall, I think the DecaMove is a really unique device that helps create a more natural feel to VR Locomotion, and I'll be looking forward to seeing what other games it ends up supporting. The DecaMove is honestly one of those things that you didn't realize you needed until you actually have it. Shooting in video games is a lot easier now that you don't have to worry about that side drift movement. Also, I'm really interested in seeing how hardcore VR multiplayer players are going to be able to use something like this to their advantage. If you'd like, follow me on various socials, you can find them in the description below. And of course, as always, thank you so much to my Patreons who help support this channel and who are also gluttonous for the content creation tutorials that I post there. As always, keep on creating and never lose that drive to improve. I'll see you on the next one.